Yo, is this on? Alright, we're back on. What's up, guys? It's your boy Kezin. We're back with another video. We're going to be talking about Ranger Clickies this time, up to the L-Down era. If I do miss something, just feel free to let me know and I'll add it to the list. If you do like my content, please make sure to like and subscribe. And we'll just start in Classic and let's get going. So the first item is Amulet of Necropotence. This is just good for a clicky item against mobs that dispel. It's also a fun little illusion. Next we have Dark Cloak of the Sky. This is similar to like the Monk Epic, where you can instant cast haste it, get it instant cast haste, and it's like 50%. So this is a really nice item from Plane of Sky. You're definitely going to want to pick that up. Next we have J Boots. It's going to give you some run speed. It's also good against dispel mobs since it's instant cast. Pegasus Feather Cloak. This is optional. This will give you a right click levitation. Just kind of a quality of life item for you. You don't have to get this since Rangers do get levitate, but it is really rare. Next we have Shield of the Immaculate. Again, this is a nice quality of life item. Instant cast, cure disease with a 1-second recast delay. Awesome item. Moving on to Kunark, we have Blood Orchid Katana. You don't really have to get this since Rangers have Sao, but I figured I would include it. This is a right click Sao item, but it does have an 8-second cast time. So it might just be just as fast to memorize it if you're a Ranger, but if you want to pick this up, you can. Bracer of the Hidden is just an instant cast See Invisible. You can cast it on yourself or other players, and it's good against mobs that dispel. Earthcaller is actually a proc. This is going to slow the attack rating of the mob you're attacking. It's got a 50% magic-based slow proc, so it's really nice. You're definitely going to want to get your Ranger 1.0 Epic. It's really good. Earring of Woven Bark is just a right-click snare. Cast time on it's a little long, but it is nice to have. If you don't have snare memorized, you can pick this up. Fungus Covered Great Staff. If you get the pre-nerf version, you can use this for some extra regen. Maybe just when you're sitting down, this might save you a little bit of mana on a heal or something like that. Or it's good for twinks as well. Fungus Covered Scale Tunic. Again, good for leveling up at low levels. It's going to give you 15 HP regen. This is a Warn effect. It is not a clicky. Ring of Stealthy Travel is really nice, but 2-second cast time Gather Shadows. I would definitely recommend picking this up if you can. And the good thing about it is it's tradable. Shrunken Goblin Skull Earring. You don't really have to get this since Rangers get a lot of attack buffs, and I don't think they stack with this, but if you do want an extra instant cast, you can pick this up for Grim Aura. Swift Wind is the other one-hander for the Ranger 1.0 Epic. This will give you 40% haste item. This is going to be really, really good in Kunark era, and maybe even after that. It may be difficult if you're not ready to get a 40% haste. This is a great way to get it. Toland's class set is just a Kunark class set. There's all kinds of clickies on these things. The boots give you Serpent Sight, not that helpful. The bracers are pretty helpful. Right-click summon arrows, so those are nice if you don't have another way to make arrows. The breastplate's really good. Ring of Fate Arc. This will port you to Lesser Fate Arc, so it's really awesome. Especially like once Planes of Power comes out and the books are out, you can get back to Plane of Knowledge pretty quickly using this. Toland's Darkwood Van Bracers. Right-click Stinging Swarm, which is damage over time. Pretty nice item. Toland's Darkwood Gauntlets will give you a right-click snare. This is only a 4-second cast time, so it's pretty decent. Toland's Darkwood Greaves is a right-click cancel magic. It's got a 10-second cast time, so it's really not that useful. And we have Toland's Darkwood Helm, which is going to give you superior camo. That lasts 10 minutes. Or, I'm sorry, that takes 10 seconds to cast. I think superior camo actually does not fade, if I remember properly. So you may want to get this, you may not. Up to you. Moving on to Velius, we have Cloak of Thorns. This is going to give you a +4 damage shield, completely optional. Eye Patch of Plunder is going to give you 20% haste. This is a pretty good item. I'd probably recommend picking this up if you can. Golden, if you solo a lot, if you're not around haste people, that is. Golden Leaf Breastplate is going to give you right-click Call of Earth. So that's just like a nice little clicky for the buff. You can pick that up if you want. Flowers functionality are optional. They'll give you +50 to every resist. 1 resist per flower. Optional there. Polymorph Wand Forest Fairy. It's probably a pretty good item to get. You can get it from the Daybreak store for 750 points. Looks like I got a typo in there. I got to fix that. But it's only a 2-second cast time, so it's pretty nice for a levitate item. This will give you levitate. Ring of Dane Frostweaver the 4th. This is a pretty good item. It gives you attack rating, damage shield, and regen. It also has good stats on it, so if you can do this quest, this is a good pickup here. Tanglewood Shield is right-click and snare. It's another option for snaring. And snare actually lasts 14 minutes, so that's really nice. I would pick this up if you can. Both Rangers and Druids can use this. Tri-plated Golden Hackle Hammer is instant cast, essentially instant cast, arc shielding. I would pick this up if you can. Nice little HP buff there. Moving on to Lucklin, we have Amulet of Pure Heart. This will give you right-click, counteract poison. It's got an 8-second cast time on it, though, but it's still pretty good. If you can pick this up, it's another optional item there. Belt of Marvelous Visions is going to give you 30% haste with the 50 stamina. As a ranger, you might not want to get this. You're probably best off getting Cloak of the Sky, since Cloak of the Sky will give you 50% haste, and this is only 30. This is probably more for other classes, but this is an option here. Bracelet of the Shadow Hive. Right-click Shrink. You can use it on anybody, and it has a 1-second cast time. There's going to be a lot of competition on this, but if you need a nice shrink item, this is the best one you can get. Crystallized Spider Eye. Serpent Eye, rather. This is another 4-point damage shield, completely optional. Fervid Gloves of the Warder. This will give you a right-click Cry of Fire, which is a buff that will give you a stun and a direct damage. This is a pretty good item, and only Rangers can use it, so if you can get this out of Extol, I would definitely get it. Gloves of Warding, completely optional. It's going to give you 50 magic resist buff. Ring of Resistance, completely optional here. Give you 10 all resist in the form of an AA. Single Earring of Veracity. This has pretty good stats on it, so maybe you want to get it because it's a really good item in Lucklin. It's going to give you a right-click Acumen, which you may or may not need as a ranger. Generally, Rangers can see pretty well already, but this does have like see and viz on it as well, so it's kind of nice. Torque of the Warmlord, optional for Rangers. It's probably best for like a warrior or maybe a Shadow Knight, but it's going to give you 300 HP, and it runs on the Brel's line of spells, so that's pretty unique. It's a pretty good item overall. It is still good for Rangers though, so if you want to pick it up, you can. Vengeful Mail of the Void. This is going to give you Heart of the Void, which will give you 225 health and 40 cold and magic resist. This will go in the shielding line of spells, so I'm pretty sure that stacks with everything that Rangers have, so this is a pretty good item to pick up for a Ranger. Moving on to Planes of Power, we have Bane of Primordial Energy. It's going to give you an AC Clicky in the form of an AA. We have Bangle Disease of Warding. Bangle of Disease Warding, I'm sorry. And this will give you a right-click, instant cast, resist disease. It's a quest in Plane of Disease. So this is optional, but you can pick that up if you need a fun toy. It's also good against the spell mobs. Celestial Cloak will give you 5 HP in mana regen in the form of an AA. Club of Slime is a cold-based slow proc, and it only does 10%. But it's good like against the Emperor SS Ra. So this is a good item for that if you want to pick that up, and you can farm it off a group mob in Plane of Earth. Cloak of Retribution. I don't know if this stacks necessarily with all of the Ranger buffs. It may or may not, but you might want to look into that before you pick this up. But it does have a 20-point damage shield on it, which is pretty good. So if you want to get that and you're okay with the stacking, you pick one of these up. Earring of Celestial Energy, completely optional here. 20 all resist in the form of an AA. Eye of Dreams. It's best on casters and healers, but Rangers can use it. It's good because it gives you plus 400 to your mana pool. So if you want some extra mana, you're trying to min-max, this is a good item to pick up. Plane Striders set is the Ornate, Planes of Power Ornate set. The Breastplate has a clicky, a Protection of the Wild, which is really nice because you use that a lot. And the Greaves will give you Earthen Roots. It's going to give you a right-click root that lasts 1 minute, so that's really nice too. Those are both pretty good. Prismatic Ring of Resistance is going to give you an AA version of an AC and resist buff, completely optional. Again, really good item though overall, so you're probably going to want to wear this if you do pick it up, unless you're trying to max out like your H-Dex or something like that. Serrated Dart of Energy is a right-click AA for 25 extra attack power. Not a high priority, but a pretty good item if you want to min-max. Silver Hoop of Speed is going to give you a right-click version 3 haste on it. It also is best in slot for Rangers. It's got 4 heroic decks on it and just really good stats overall. But the overhaste, if there's no barg around, this is nice to have that little extra 5%. Symbol of the Plane Masters. Again, I'm not sure of the stacking with this, but I'm going to leave it in here. Look up the stacking before you decide to bid on this. But it's kind of a min-max item. You're not actually going to wear this since Rangers are always using a bow. But it's going to give you a right-click stun and direct damage on it. And I may end up taking that out later. I might look this up and end up taking this out. But look that up for yourself. Next, the Minden Corazonada. This will give you a way to gate the plane of knowledge, so you can bind wherever you want and still be able to gate the POC. It does use a reagent though. The reagent costs a little bit less than a gate potion, so that's kind of nice. But I recommend picking this up for any class that doesn't have gate. Veil of the Infernos is going to give you an extra 180 health based on an AA grant. Wand of the Vortex. This is going to give you a right-click annual magic, which will dispel 2. I think it's buffs or debuffs, if I remember correctly. But you can pick this up for the Clicky. Pretty good Clicky here. And moving on to Eldon. Let's see if we can get this to load properly. We have Bracer of Forbidden Paths. This is going to give you a right-click Eagle Eye, which is really, really good spell for your bow. You always want Eagle Eye up when you're using your bow. So pick this up. This is high priority for a Ranger. Cloak of the Fleeting Foot is a really low priority for a Ranger. It's a right-click Sal. You can cast it on anybody. It only has 3-second cast time, but since you already have Sal, if you're competing against your guild for this, it's kind of selfish, in my opinion, to be bidding on this. It's best for classes that don't have Sal, maybe like a Cleric or just any caster, basically, who doesn't have Sals. But if you want to pick this up, you can. And lastly, we have Crimson Bauble of Rights. This is another AA grant for attack rating. I think it's plus 20 attack. And there's some other really minor clickies in Eldon. I just didn't bother to include them in here. But that pretty much covers everything. If this was helpful, please make sure to like the video. And also, please subscribe. Okay, thanks, guys. Bye.